Well, welcome back, Masterpiece Women. My name is Tina Rains, and I'm the founder and the host for the Masterpiece Women podcast and community. And we're very excited to have you today. And today we have David Rivas. And David Rivas is someone I met recently whose passion to help improve people's lives and health is extraordinary. So David was a pharmacist, then he went back and got his master's in nutrition and is doing incredible things with it. So I invited him today. Thank you, David, for joining us today.
You're welcome. It's an honor to be here.
I'm excited to have you. So David, I want you to share your story with the women, because when you shared your story with me, it was just so impactful to me. And I think it's going to be for the women as well, how God called you from one place to another. What was that? Share your journey with the ladies, David.
Yeah, absolutely. We had, me and my wife, Jessica, we were blessed, to have twins, a boy and a girl, David and Daviana. But my son came with a challenging situation. He came with severe autism. And it was a little bit, quite overwhelming for both of us, because my son, he was aggressive. He was hitting his head to the floor, biting other people. And we were extremely, challenged just to do, regular routine stuff. Even going to the restaurant was a very challenging, a situation for us. So we were, as pharmacists, me and my wife, we are both pharmacists, and it was a challenging, place to be. And we tried to help, my son with medications. Try to make him like a little bit relaxed, but we were unable to help him. And as a Christian, I was praying God for a miracle. I was praying God, for him, to do a miracle. And I was praying for weeks and months, and sometimes we are praying for situations, for challenges, but God is waiting for us. And I was praying, and then a thought came to my mind. David, you are waiting for me, but I'm waiting for you. I said, wow, so you're waiting for me. So you have to move from the prayer room to the action room. That really,
I love that. From the prayer room to the active room. How often do we do that, where we're just praying and praying, but we're not moving? We're just waiting. Don't take a step forward.
Yes, and that was, so I took the decision, you know what? Let's do it. Because, I had a situation, like before that, he was like, my son was so out of control that I just grabbed him, but right there, I felt that he was inside. He was just trapped. He was like, like in jail, and I felt that I had to be like a gold miner, just take all the debris out, to bring my son out. So I told my wife, I'm going back to school. If somebody, is going to do something for my son, that's me, that's us. So I went back to school and learned about, food and nutrition and principle of functional medicine, and how we can use food, to benefit brain function. And as soon as I start, learning, and more importantly, applying the information, then, my son started to improve, and he started.
How old was he, David, at that time when you started that?
Yeah, he was like 2.5, 3 years old, and we start, implementing, all the different changes, and it has been a total miracle, from a severe state, he began to be calm. And now, if we go now, he's doing amazing, from doing well in school, top GPA in science and math, and from a challenging situation, he's doing extremely well. I'm playing multiple sports, I was devastated as a parent. I had dreams of playing basketball with my son, and I said, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do it. And right now, he's playing basketball. I'm a basketball coach, so we're sharing, like the time together. So it has been a major journey. So never, sometimes most people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 5-10 years. And that's the most impactful thing. Just be persistent and believe that, that God can provide the resources for you to have your dream, to fulfill your dream.
Well, and I love your story for so many reasons. Obviously, just, as a mom, the heartbeat of knowing the improvement of your son, but the idea that you said, okay, it's going to be me. And I think oftentimes God will give us this desire in our heart for a purpose. And I'm watching what God did with what your situation was. And I'm privileged because I got to see a video you sent me of your son. I'm like, that is just the coolest. So I love how you took what could have been so devastating as a parent. And oftentimes as a parent, when you do, you do experience a disappointment because of a health issue or different things, we just accept it. But yet you went on this journey of, okay, I'm not only going to help my son, but I'm going to learn what I need to do to help him. But then I'm going to take that very thing and I'm going to go and help the masses. And that's what you're doing now. So share a little bit about what you are doing right now, David, and how that situation transformed your son's life, but also now you're using to help so many people.
Yeah, I'm helping, people really around the world, people from Italy, from Egypt, people from London, we're, obviously United States, and Puerto Rico. And so, in life, sometimes we face obstacles, but God is going to use your biggest pain, your biggest, obstacle to be a blessing to others. So never underestimate your pain, because your pain is just a school. That's like the tuition for you, to fulfill God's purpose in your life. And, and it is truly, I saw the need, to help, not only people with autism, people with like brain fog, people, with maybe early dementia, or maybe they're afraid of having like dementia, and they're starting to have problems with memory, forgetting names, and and it is an honor that that God is helping me in this situation of helping them, making them aware of all the power that is in food, for us, to have an optimal brain function. So yes.
So the power of food. I want you to describe that a little bit, because our brain, and I'm on this mission now to improve 1 billion brains with our brain technology. So when I met you, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a perfect marriage. When we transform our nutrition for our brain, talk a little bit about what some of the basic steps towards improving our brain health are, because when we improve our brain health, we improve everything in our lives.
Yes. That's, I always tell, other people, that I work, that your brain is your biggest piece of real estate. It's your biggest property. It's not, your beach house or, or your second house, or no. Your brain is your biggest piece of real estate. And definitely, the brain has a hit, if the brain is resilient, that means it doesn't matter how challenging is your situation. It can like self-heal if you provide the right material. If the brain is like an engine, and you can have, it's like an engine from a car. So you can paint the outside of the car, but you have to go into the engine and put like the right oil and the right nutrients, and then the brain, like the engine, start working. And what I have seen, for example, in autism, they had so many, so many low amount of nutrients in their brain, a lot of deficiencies of nutrients. And that prevents the brain, to work optimally. Also, they got inflammation, they got challenges in energy, and that prevents, for them, to function optimally. So if you provide the nutrients that can help this area, for example, we can talk about olive oil and, extra virgin olive, omega-3. Omega-3, we are talking about vitamin D, and these nutrients at the right dosing can make a major impact in your brain function.
Well, what I find so fascinating is that you are a pharmacist. Obviously, you believe in medicine. That is your life. And I'm a nurse. I believe in medicine too. I believe there's a place for everything. But I also believe that God created us in such a beautiful way that if we put the right nutrients, as you described, we use technology, we use the things that God's gifted us with to improve our health, we can heal ourselves of so many things. Yes. And oftentimes we're just looking for a quick fix.
Yes.
And it's more of it's similar to what you described, right? Our mindset's the same way. It's not only is our body and our mind and our brain, right? They all work together to do what God created us to do. But if we don't work on those practical things of holding our thoughts captive to change our mindset, of improving our nutrition so that we take care of our brain health and our physical health, and use some of the other things that God's gifted us with, then we go to the fast fix. And oftentimes those fast fix long-term aren't the greatest solution for us.
That's totally true. It's very important for you to have the right mindset, to get your thoughts, like captive, all those negative thoughts, that may come into your mind, because God made you to have full, to have all dominion over all things. You created to have dominion over all things. When I was, like, for example, applying the information I was getting from school, you can feel, you can feel, inside of you, go to this study and connect it to this study over here, and then make the connection. And you can feel right there, how, this voice can come to you, and it can use your skills to bring out a new product. So definitely, how you work with your mindset, is so important. God made you to conquer. And sometimes, like in the Bible, when the people of God, were like trapped in the desert, and they were going to the promised land, sometimes we have a mindset of like, we're like kind of grasshoppers. Grasshopper, and God didn't make you like a grasshopper. We have to think, am I thinking like a son of God? No, am I thinking like a daughter of God? And second, is this thought is going to help me to reach my goal? Is this thought is going to help me to reach my dream? If this thought is not going to help me to reach my dream, then I have to discard it. So, you have to filter every thought that comes to your mind, and you have to say, is this right? And then if it's not, you have to reject it. And you have to do this every day.
Yeah, every day. Sometimes I describe mine as the spaghetti noodles. All of a sudden, all the enemy will just start like putting all these crazy thoughts in my head. And I'm like, okay, no. The truth is, okay, this is a lie. This is the truth. Which one do I want to believe? And, if people really heard what was inside my brain, what I was thinking, they might think, man, what's she doing? But I do it all the time. Like, I get so many thoughts, and I think everybody does, if we're being real, especially when you're in transition. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about that, David, because I know that's a time when you transition from your known, you transition from being a pharmacist to now being this specialist in nutrition. Talk a little bit about that transition and the difficulties of that for you, and regarding even your mindset, because I know a lot of the women listening also are being called by God to do something different, and they're paralyzed with fear, or they're having self-doubt, because that seems to be when the enemy puts the most doubt in our heads, is when we're transitioning from something we're really confident in.
Yes, and always come from the side, like I explained before, that God gave us dominion over all things. And and when you walk in that, in that side, you know that you're fully resourced to do everything. You got all that I need. You may need a little bit of training, but that's okay. That's okay. But it is very important for us to be aware of that, and for not stop, to wait for things to be perfect. Oh, I want everything to be perfect. Then I will make the move, or then I will make the decision. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, because when God explains, in the Bible that that you need to have, that He will guide your plans. Your plan. It doesn't say God's plans. It say your plans. That means that God will put you a dream inside of you. Then you have to plan. Okay, how can I get God put this inside of me? How can I get it? How can I get there? And then in Proverbs say your plans. So that means plans. That means not only it's plural. So you have to, okay, is this a way, or this is, there are many ways to get to the same point. So you have to establish different plans and say, okay, how can I get there? And then you just go. Maybe, this situation, it may not work, but then it's going to be the thing that will get you to the right thing.
Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
you will miss it. So, and in life, you need to have results to fix results. So what I mean that you have to try, because you are not going to fix something if you have never tried. So you need to get results. I need to get my results, because then God will fix my results. But He's not going to give you what the change that is needed for this to work if I don't take the first step and start walking.
Amen. So talk a little bit about that, David, so these women that are listening, you've talked about the results of your son. They're magnificent, changing his nutrition. He went from severe autism to living a really great life. He's doing phenomenal from nutrition, and talking about brain health specifically. What would be a few key things that you would say to the women to really look at in their diets to help improve their brain health so they could function at a better place?
Yep, absolutely. Easy things, that we can do every day. For example, a simple thing is just do a morning smoothie. A morning smoothie, very easy thing to do, and add one of the most powerful fruits that you can do for brain health, like blueberries. Make sure that they're organic, so we don't want any pesticides on our, in our brain. And also add one of the most powerful healthy fat for your brain. It's very inexpensive. It's called extra virgin olive oil, and it is all about amounts. It's not about the nutrient. So the nutrient is, God made it with not just healthy fat, also contains antioxidants that are anti-inflammatory and help with neuroplasticity. So it improve the connection in the brain. For example, the Mediterranean diet that is very high in extra virgin olive oil, can cut down the risk of dementia by at least 30%. And if we add, with extra virgin olive oil, it's about quantity. For example, the therapeutic amount is from 3 tablespoons to 4 tablespoons. So it's not a little bit, that's like 3 to 4 tablespoons. So what you can do is do a smoothie in the morning. If you want to use, like 4 tablespoons, maybe you can do a smoothie in the morning or in the afternoon. But if you do it, in the morning, just do like 3 tablespoons. It doesn't affect the flavor at all. So you can do a very delicious smoothie. Blueberries, you can add mangoes, you can add like an organic apple. You can add maybe fiber like flax seeds. This is a very simple smoothie that can do can have a very protective, effect in your brain. That's at least that's one of my weapons to do it, in the morning.
I love that. And that's easy. It's so easy to implement. So ladies, everybody needs to start doing their smoothies with 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Or split it up during the day, right? That's an excellent start. And for those of you who are interested in really learning more, David has an incredible book. What's the name of your book again, David? Will you share that with everyone?
It's called Resilient Brain. Resilient
Brain.
Yep.
And we'll have a link to that down below. And David also does coaching. Now, do you do one-on-one? Do you do group coaching? What does that look like for you, David?
I do one-on-one, but very soon I'm going to start a program that's going to be like group coaching. So we all can learn together, can have, this experience, that can really transform not only our life, but really our whole family.
Love it. So, ladies, if this is something that, and I believe all of us need to focus on, especially, the demographic of our group listening is primarily 35 to 55. We really need to be focusing on our brain health, because I don't know about you ladies, but I want to be around for my great grandkids. So that's my goal. So I'm going to be focusing. I did actually order your book, and I have to pick it up from hopefully it's there. I got to check actually. So ladies, get your book ordered and check into the website, check into David's website, and get with them. And what would you leave the ladies with, David, in regards to a couple of key points to, we talked about your mindset. We talked about just going and, following God. Is there anything else you'd say to them? Okay, this is one of the key things I learned when I was building my business that would be of great value to them.
That is, it's not about you, it's about them. Sometimes we are afraid to make a sales call to reach somebody, but the real point is like you're thinking about yourself. And I heard, I heard, a mentor, that he mentions, okay, so do you enjoy sales? Do you enjoy, reaching people? No, I don't like to talk to people about, but he said, oh, so you don't care about them? Said, no, I care about them. He said, okay, so if you care about them, then you're going to take the next step and talk to them about how you can change, like their life with the product that you have. And when you have the right thinking, things start to change. So it's not about you, it's about them. When you start thinking about them, things will start to change.
100%. Wow, I love that. It's interesting because I just taught a little session for our whole team, and that's exactly what I said. It was about generosity and really having a generous heart towards others. Then you want to share, especially when you have something that it's going to change their lives. And so I encourage people, if you're doing something that you don't feel like you have something that you're giving to other people that they need, and you're not passionate about sharing it, you might want to really reconsider what God's calling you to share, because you want to know that you can help other people. If it's all about, I just want to make sales, ultimately it's just not satisfying, number one. And number two, we're on this planet for a limited time, and we want to utilize the time that we have here to really make an impact and improve the world. And so, and I know for myself, when I make those calls, because I'm a giver, not a taker. So I love to sell, but I don't sell from hey, you need it. It's like, I know that what I'm sharing with you can impact your life so greatly that I can't help but share it with you, you know, and you want to find that thing for you that's the same way. Just like you, David, like, you know what you're doing is doing such an incredible impact in people's lives. You can't help but want to share it.
Can I share something before we go?
Absolutely.
I was in a seminar, and I had a mom, and she had, so, this is just a message for you to share your dreams with others. And she had a child with severe autism, and he was completely out of control. And she looked at me and she told me, David, what he's gonna do when I die? What he's going to do when I die? And that phrase right there, it just stayed in my head. I can feel, her heart. She was completely, devastated. Say, what he's gonna do when I die? What my son is gonna do when I die? And that, that phrase just, every morning that I was waking up, working on my dream, that thought came to my mind. What he's gonna do when I die?
Oh, so my goodness.
Always have that dream, remembrance of why you're doing it. Having that why can change your life.
Amen. I always correlate that to, recently, especially having so many stories of transformation. I was just bawling the other day. I had a doctor actually call. She has a similar story to you, actually. She became a homeopathic doctor because she had a daughter with severe neurological disorder that was very rare, and she wanted to figure out how to help her holistically, and has not really had great success with it. And recently, the child actually started doing our brain set, and after a week she was having these incredible results and being able to write her letters and things, and she's sending me the video of this little girl, and I'm just bawling. I'm like, that's the why. When I think about the hard work that I'm putting into this, the things I'm doing, if I weren't doing that, I would have never met this doctor who, I didn't know her. She came because I introduced someone who then introduced someone who then introduced someone. And it's like 6 layers down of individuals, but yet I had the privilege of now being, connected with her because of it. And I thought, you just don't know who you're going to be able to help and what the impact's going to be. And, we may not see it till we get to heaven of some of our efforts, just like sharing the gospel, right? We may not see those efforts. And so oftentimes I think people look at the immediate results, the social media likes, the followers, things like that. They're trying to build their business with that mindset of, well, if I get more followers, then it means you just don't know. And that little girl's story the other day was that why, just like yours that you just described for me, David. It's like, okay, if it was just for this one little girl and the improvement in her life, it's so worth it, and you got to find it. You've got to find that why and really go after it. And I remember when I was climbing Kilimanjaro, there was a little Indian girl that I'd seen, and they'd said she would be, human trafficked by the time she was 5. And every time I didn't want to breathe, I was like, breathe, because you're doing it for her. And so you've got to find that. So I love that, David. That's a great way to end the podcast, is go find your why, go improve your brain nutrition, and improve your life, right?
Yep.
Thank you for being with us today, David. And ladies, don't forget the retreat. We only have a few spots left. Make sure you register November 2nd to the 5th at Hutchinson Island Marriott Resort. It's going to be incredible. Have a great day. And thank you again, David, for being with us. The ladies can connect with you on the information down below.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. Have a great day.
You too.